Now you have the website, the funnel to getting clients with a productized offer, to have clear defined line items. They sign the contract, check out on your website or on your proposal tool. Then you create a new project in your work tracking tool, fill it with the line items you promised in your offer or in your proposal. You have the quality standard, how your team should deliver this work. And now you, of course, obviously need a team or you already have a team. So that looks like this, right? This is your productized offer. Here you have your quality standard. These green ones are the work items, the deliverables of your productized offer. Then below you have a process that's either Scrum or Scrum in Light, which is referred to as Kanban. Scrum or Kanban, right? They are both documented in the quality standard and build and lead your team module you have access to. I will show you tools that make the Scrum process a bit easier. And then, of course, you need to have the role quality standard defining who in your team takes ownership for what in the delivery, right? And then the other side is just like you build a funnel in the same way as you build a funnel to attract clients, you can build a funnel to attract talent. Or you use hiring platforms, which is the same. You create a job offer, which is like your ad on social media, and then people react to that. They like it. It's attractive to them. And they apply, and then you have an interview and to check if you are both a good fit. Then you get a contract that's like the checkout of your clients. It's exactly the same. You contract people. Some pay you money, the others you pay money, and they like do the work for you. Okay, so time tracking. I know some clients, they don't want their team to track time because the teams typically don't like that. And it depends on what is it that you sell in your line items of your offer. If you sell people, if you sell software developer or marketing strategist, 10 hours and 100 euro per hour, then you sell time of people, and you definitely need to track time because otherwise you cannot bill it and you don't have any reporting. When you don't sell the time of people, but you sell concrete deliverables, for example, the marketing strategy, and the marketing strategy costs 500 euro, 1,000 euro, whatever, you definitely also either want to have contractors that are trained on your quality standard on how to create a marketing strategy based on your format, based on your template, and they agree that they deliver it for 250 euro, then you have 50% profit margin. If you have a fixed price agreement with your client and your contractors, that is all fine. Then you don't need time tracking because you have this profitability already built in just by the contract. You just need to track the completion of the work, the completion rate, which means like the marketing strategy has 5 elements, persona definition, etc. How much is completed? You want to track that. And then you don't need time. But if people are employees, for example, I would definitely recommend having time tracking because you pay them for their time. That's what is in your contract with your employees, right? 160 hours per month. Then holidays, sick time will also be paid. And then they get their money, their salary. So you have now time of a person with specific skills. Now you want to make sure that this time is invested in a way that it's generating great results for your clients, but also it's profitable for your business. And you can only manage that when you have transparency, which is created by time tracking. I would definitely not recommend to use a separate time tracking tool. I would always recommend using the time tracking tool that is built in your work tracking. Otherwise, it's getting pretty complex. I know there are people that use Toggle and integrate it with Asana, for example. You can do that. If you are fine with it and you don't feel overwhelmed with the complexity, then there is no problem. If I would choose, I would use the time tracking that is built in my work track. Okay, and then, obviously your team needs to communicate. And for chat messages, we use Slack. For video messages, we use Microsoft Teams or Google Meet, or you can also use Zoom. And I use Loom for asynchronous video messages that we use really a lot in our team because people don't like meetings. I also don't like them a lot. So whenever there is something we want to show, which is always better than just talking or writing, because showing a screen has simply much more information and you can point to what you mean and then talk about it. And you can just create this video and send it to someone and they reply either with text or just do it or create another video. You need to train your team, of course, and that's why I love the free version of Loom, because it forces you to put your message in maximum 5 minutes. And we have the rule, never send a video message that's longer than 2 minutes. So 2 minutes is the maximum. If you need to talk a lot, 5 minutes, 10 minutes on a video, then it's better that you sit down before you create a video and think about what you really want to say and show. That's something that has to do with respect of the time of others. Yeah. And the good thing is here, you can also put the video on double speed. You can watch it faster. Yeah, that's what we use for communication in the team. I said that there is a tool for improving the Scrum process and the retrospective in particular. It's called RetroTool.io. And with RetroTool.io, you can ask your team the questions that should be asked in the retrospective. For example, what worked well this sprint? What should we improve next sprint? And then list the action items. That is not required, but I found for the process owner or the Scrum Master that leads these meetings, it's a lot easier to do it with this tool than somewhere else just by people talking. I always prefer people creating something, like creating the report in the Retro tool, or creating a document where they walk me over, or creating a video, creating something, because then the knowledge is persistent compared to just people telling me something. And then when the call is over, then everything is forgotten or there are misunderstandings, etc. So digital assets should be created instead of just people talking. Showing versus telling. Remember that from the course. I said that already for onboarding new team members to train them on the quality standard, which means basically you have my quality standard, right? It's the course. And we have that per role. Then we walk them over how to build a marketing strategy, if this is relevant for their role, how to create a brand identity. I click this thing and I just talk them over this template. And then they know how they should create a marketing strategy or other things. That's what we do in Thinkific or Loom, or there is also a video platform, video hosting in Office 365 integrated with Microsoft Teams. Yeah, what is a very powerful thing is asynchronous check-ins and status updates. Personally, I really hate it when we have a meeting with my team and they tell me how our sales pipeline is. I don't want to hear that. I want to see it, right? That's why we have sales tracking. So they should send their sales KPIs. So what's the amount of revenue of your open deals? How much did you close in the last week? And what are you planning to close this month? That's what I need as data so that I can have an informed conversation with my team. And they submit this data in forms before we have the meeting, because then we have data. And there is also one question, which is, which questions do you want to get answered in this meeting? That's then an extension to the agenda. And we do that with stand-up leads integrated with Slack. It's kind of a bot that the team lead can use and fill the questions and then set an interval when these questions should be sent to everyone in the group, in the Slack group or in the team. Then they get the question, they submit it, and I get a report, as well as the team gets all the other submissions from other team members. And then we have a meeting. So then the meeting is well prepared from others. But you don't have to use stand-up leads, just nicely integrated if you use Slack. You can also use Google Form or a Microsoft form and just fill the questions there and let your team fill it in. I can highly recommend that. It leads to much better meetings with better structure, more focus on what really matters. And it frees up time of people to just have conversations about what they like. right? What I find really boring is when there is a conversation because nobody knows what they really want from the meeting, but they have been invited to the meeting and now they feel they need to contribute something. And then it's like a lot of blah, blah, blah without any substance. I like that when I just want to engage with people, but I hate it if I go into a meeting and we need to get something done and nobody is prepared. So these asynchronous check-ins help your team prepare and increase the quality of your meetings. You don't need that. I just didn't want to miss that. OKRs, objectives and key results, that's a tool to strategically plan with company goals and objectives and let your team set their own goals that contribute to the company goals. That's really advanced strategic planning. You don't need that if your company is like, 5 people and you didn't get the other things right. If you have 5 people and you got the other things right, you can also start with OKRs to align your team to the company goals. We use Weekdone for that, but it requires training. It takes at least 1, 2, or even 3 quarters. So 3 to 9 months until your team is really trained on that. So nothing for the start, definitely not. And a very important thing for legal compliance, especially related to GDPR, is password management. And I wrote that here because that's our password policy. You might want to copy that. I always prefer creating individual accounts in tools for people compared to sharing password. We only share passwords when there is no option to create an individual account. Because when you don't have individual accounts, you violate basically what is defined in GDPR law, which means access control to data. You don't have access control if people share the same password and you have 20 people that all have access. There is no access control. The tools we use, I use LastPass. You see that here, top right, that's my LastPass thing. And there you can share passwords in a safe and secure way with other team members. And the other tools, NordPass, Bitwarden, and 1Password, they basically do the same. Choose one. It's better than having none. Don't overthink it. But I highly recommend if you have a team and sometimes you need to share passwords, definitely do it with a password sharing tool. Yeah, and then whiteboard, brainstorming, requirements gathering, visualization, or also creating concepts for marketing strategies. We have a template marketing strategy for Miro. We have a template software requirements in Miro. We do the education part in Miro, right? You know that the funnel blueprint is in Miro. I really like that. And I also like that you can, I'm not sure if you know that, but for example, you can create cards, right? These cards here. And then you can directly, if you integrate it with your work tracking tool, here we have Jira integrated because we use it at Bright Solutions. Then you can authorize first and then create a task from this task directly in Jira. The nice thing is that then you have the overview in Miro, right? It's your creative, your concept where you have all the requirements on this one whiteboard and you can move it around just to brainstorm and get creative. But then it needs to go into the production, right? In your work tracking tool, so your team can actually deliver the persona definition, create it, or develop the software or whatever it is. So then from here, you can integrate it and send this issue to Jira or ClickUp or Asana or Trello, and it's connected. Then you always have this Miro board as an overview of everything. You can extend it and discuss it with your clients on a strategic level, while from here, it goes directly to the work layer where your team actually implements that. That's definitely a nice flow. I never want to miss that. Yeah, that's why I'm sharing it.
Thank you so much for watching. If you want to move to the next step, you can start with the resources I linked below this video. If you enjoyed this video, please like it below and share it. It will help to support this channel and create more helpful content for you regularly and make our digital work world a better place. Cheers and see you soon.